Hey YouTube, what's good? Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to check out our channel. Today I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to show you how I tune my cars. It's something that I just got into because I just figured it out in the last couple of weeks. So about 9 months ago, when I started online racing, I was getting my doors blown off down the street, and I remember one time it was at the Fuji track. Guy with the same car as me just absolutely blew me away. And I was wondering, how in the world can this guy beat me? And it's only about, like I said, a week ago that I figured that it's something in the tuning. I watched a couple of videos, and so as I've been trying to make my way in my own group that I've been racing with online, a bunch of guys let me join their group. I'm still getting my doors blown off, but I'm trying to close that gap. So today I'm just starting using this Hyundai Genesis, and I'm setting it up right now. I'm not going to be playing around with the other settings too much other than the gearing. And this is, I'm going to try to make this as quickly as possible, hopefully under 20 minutes. Just playing around with a few settings here so I can make the car drivable. I haven't been on this track in about 9 months, and I think I've only ever driven this car once before. So I've also just started learning how to drive with no assist at all. So that means no ABS and no traction control. So one thing that I have seen somebody mention online is to change the braking sensitivity, have it maxed out, and have your brakes all the way at the back. But to each their own. I mean, you drive the car differently than the way I do, so I'm just trying to get the car set up, and we'll see what's going on here. So as I come to this line right there where that red mark is on the side on the left and the banner overhead, I'm at 114 kilometers an hour. So that's a good indicator to let me know how fast I am off the line. I'm in 12th place right now. Yeah, I crashed into this guy because, as I said, first time driving the car, maybe the second time driving the car ever, and I'm just not worried about the handling right now. So notice that Corvette that just passed me there. We'll come to that later. Making my way around the turn. Handling is really bad right now. Not too worried about it. I'm just trying to get a feel for the car, feel how the gears pull as I make my way through this track for the first time. Okay, so keep going left here. Too hard on the brakes. Not smooth enough on the brakes. But this is a good spot here because if you raced this track before, this downhill is really steep. And you got to brake early before you crash the wall, but I'm going up, it's the reverse, so you can really feel how the car is pulling. And what I really want to get to is the long straight to see how high my speed gets up to. And are any of the other cars blowing the doors off me? That will give me a good indicator as to how am I going to play around with the top speed. Do I need a lot more top speed, or do I maybe have too much top speed? Because if you have too much top speed, it messes up with your acceleration. Acceleration is pretty important for when you battling with someone in those turns. So here we are, we're getting on to that long straight now, and I just want to see what number I'm going to max out at. "225 kilometers is what I get to, and we're coming up into that hard left-hand hairpin turn here. Okay, so that's some good info for me to take back and play around with the gears some more. So that's not bad. I'm in 15th spot out of 20. Yeah, and the reason I like doing this instead of a time trial is because I just like the feeling of being around the other cars. What you do in a time trial is different than what you do in the game when you're racing other people, unless you're actually, in first place, and then you don't have to worry about anybody. So what I'm doing right now with that downforce, I'm eventually going to change it just because I like a lot of downforce. I like that feeling of being sucked down to the ground a little bit. So what I'm doing is I'm decreasing that final gear. I'm just adjusting that now. You can see a few rows above I have the top speed set at 260. I'll eventually bring that down, and that's going to improve my acceleration. So I'm just playing around with the individual gears here. I figured out for me to do this myself, if I just change them and have a gap of about 30 or so, somewhere around there, it's kind of an easy-ish ballpark to say, okay, more or less after that. I don't have it set at exactly 30 here, but eventually I will as I fine-tune it. And again, this is only, almost 7 minutes into this, so it's not a lot of time spent. I remember, spending hours on the time trials trying to figure out what is going on. What am I doing here? Why am I so slow? And so this is the track in the daily races this week. Dragon Tail Seaside II, this week of January 31st, 2022. So I figure out why not just try it on this track. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, I'm going to increase the downforce just because I do need to get around the track, and I don't want to be smashing into other cars, and I definitely don't want to be smashing into other cars online because it's that's not done on purpose by me anyway. I'm trying to keep that race etiquette up. So here we go for the second trial, and this will be the first indicator as we get to that banner overhead. Just getting a feel again. Okay, now I want you to watch something as we come to this underpass over here. There's going to be a Corvette, and see how that Corvette passes me right there just before we get to the underpass? Remember that later, because you have to remember that the AI in Gran Turismo is really good, and if you've noticed it, cars in the game want to do the same thing. So it's a good way to give you a gauge of where you are in terms of your driving, handling, whatsoever. Okay, nudge that guy there a bit, not a big deal. That's why I'm doing this offline, so I don't make anybody mad and ruin their games. I'm just doing this testing, and that's really the only way to get better. Test, drive it. Test, drive. Test, drive, tweak, test, drive, over and over until you nail it down, right? Everybody's always looking for, 1 kilometer an hour faster or 1 mile an hour faster, more acceleration, more top end speed. Okay, and handling is a little bit better, but really I'm not too worried about the handling. Now we're getting into some straights. We'll see how it's going over here. The car's definitely feeling a little bit better. So I lost some places at the top, but I made them back. Okay, haven't figured out the handling yet. Playing smash up derby. Yeah, I pushed them out of the way, so I got 2 spots. That's not what counts here today right now. So now we're on this straight, so I want to look at what my final speed on this straight is. Alright, so we got that. I can take this back. And I'm going to tweak it again. So the downforce, I added 10 points up on the downforce just to give me an easy number to remember. Playing around with the gearing because I want to accelerate. I want to accelerate faster. I changed the torque just because I want to improve the handling a little bit. I'm trying to bring these numbers down so I get up to speed faster instead of giving me that nice big pull right away. I'm just trying to see how this car handles. Okay, so I've got a difference of about 40 between second and third, 40 between third and fourth, but eventually I'll have them mostly down to about 30 later on in this video. So this is about 11 minutes into this. So think how much time you can save instead of searching all over the internet for a setup that works, which you're probably gonna have to tweak anyway. This way you can just do it yourself, and that way you just make your minor adjustments. But in saying that, there are a few good sites. There are some channels on YouTube here that actually have some amazing tunes, and they will save you a lot of time because I think those guys are specialists at it. We want to see what we are with this first number here. Okay, 117, so that's better. But never really too worried about what's going on right at the front, at the very beginning of the race, because you can make it up later. As long as everybody's not passing you. So where's that Corvette? That Corvette passes me again. So a little bit of a problem in fourth and fifth gear that has to be ironed out, because that's the point where that passed me. Okay, so making our way through a couple of these turns here. Car's definitely feeling better. I'm getting more used to it. I mean, yeah, I've lost 2 spots. Not a big deal. Okay, trying to figure out the braking point on this car still. Push 2 people out of the way. The car's feeling good with that nice pull up this long hill. Okay, trying not to rear end anybody. So the car is feeling better already. I can definitely feel the improvement on it. Okay, still working on the handling though. Alright, let's get out of these last 2 turns and then we can get that long straight and see where I am here. Okay, so I'm in 8th. Wouldn't call it a real 8th. Big smash. This is what we want to see here. What's our top speed? What does our top speed max out at? And notice on the right that Corvette is blowing my doors off right here. Okay, so I get to 227, and remember the other time I got to 229. So I'm down 2 kilometers an hour, but that's not really a big deal at this point. Okay, it's not that important. I didn't need to go 300 kilometers an hour because this track doesn't have the length for it, so it's not a big deal here. If it was another track, yeah, I would up the top end speed a lot more. Yep, I was having some problems with that steering. It felt like it was pulling. I think it was pulling to the left, so that's why I just moved my brakes up a little bit. Okay, so now let's see what's going on here. Okay, so I'm already in 10th spot. Coming up to a key point here underneath this bridge. Is this vet going to pass me this time? No, look how far back the vet is on the left-hand side. So that's a good thing already. Early in the race, I'm in 9th spot here. Yeah, it's because I'm not crashing. I've gotten used to the handling of the car, but also our gears are feeling a little bit better. Okay, figured out the braking a lot better. Now up this hill. How am I doing up here? 120, 30, 140, 150, 168, 170, 180s. Okay, about 178 or so at the top. Now I'm just playing with this Lambo here because I'm not trying to stay in the slipstream because I don't want to use that car to help me get speed. Because I want to see what the car is capable on its own without being in a time trial. Because to me, I'd rather be with other cars instead of just do a time trial. Plus, I'm getting to work on the handling of the car anyway. Because you need to work on those dogfighting skills for when you actually do race against someone. Okay, so I'm in 8th place. I'll call this a legit 8. Okay, and we make our way around here. Did I hit that guy? I don't think so. So I'm in 7th place now. Okay, so this is 17 minutes in. I've improved that much. Down the long straight here. What do we max out at? 228. But it felt a lot better. It was only a few kilometers an hour more. But the gears are working better together with this car. It has me in 7th place after 17 minutes of just me working on the settings, the gearing myself. So if you keep asking yourself, why am I so slow? Why are you so slow? This may be one of the reasons. Of course, you can spend time with the suspension and the frequency and the downforce. All that makes a difference, but this is just one way, and I am by no means a specialist at this. Like I said, I've just figured this out in the last week, but it seems to be working for me already. So hopefully it'll work for you. Yeah, now I'm in 6th place. So I don't really have any more to say on this one. Thanks for taking your time to watch the video today. So what you should do is go out and try to start tweaking your gearing yourself, see what you can come up with. And that's it for this episode on Rooster G Racing. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, be sure to let me know in the comments area, and have fun racing.